Hello, everybody. You've grabbed me. I'm running a little late today. You've got the wicked lady hippie at the bar home, and we are live. And I wear all the hats, so that's why I sound like I'm talking to you from a tin can somewhere in Alaska. So bear with me. Tell me, throw my live chat up here. Tell me, see if I can get that echo out of the way. I'm not too good at this, but I think this is a great medium, fellas. Let's see how we're doing here. Uh, how about that? And we'll stay with this one, I guess. Okay. I hate to change things up. I'm already on the air, but it's just me here right now. Still redoing the house, still doing all the mess. Yes, we're having such a good time. I'm finally back on my feet. And this is my second channel because my first channel, I was so injured I couldn't do anything for like a year, literally. Um, So they, due to the inactivity, they had shut it down, and I had reopened it, but when I did, it just had so many problems. I just couldn't get it right. It would drop out in the middle of the broadcast and stuff. So I just went ahead and opened up another channel, and I just needed. I like Lady Hippie at the part 2 a.m. And so I just added Wicked, which is my army nickname. Was my nickname. Started in the army. Yes, Army veteran, published author, wife, mom, grandma. In fact, my grandson is also an Army veteran. I'm not afraid of this age. I rather like it. I'm retired. Um, uh-oh, I bet you that is my husband because, oh, well, let's not take the bet. I had some potential spam callers earlier and I blocked all of them. And then I started looking, it would ring like that. And I would look and it was, they were trying to get through. I don't know how they get that far, but whatever. Excuse me today, guys. This is like the high today here, maybe it was 40. And I'm from the North. I'm from Chicago originally. I was born and bred there. But I left at 17 for the Army and I had adopted parents at 9. So I've been everywhere and anywhere and would love to talk to you about anything you want to talk to. If you wanted to check out, I had it where I stayed 9, 10 months in the can, 9 months on my first channel, which is Wicked Lady Hippie at the Bar, or you've got the new one, which is Wicked Lady Hippie at the Bar Live. Didn't need much. So I don't know about the rest of you who are my age. I'm not a baby boomer. Don't call me a baby boomer. I'm not a baby boomer. I'm a hippie. I'm a fucking hippie. I've been proud of being a hippie since I was like 3. So get over it. Work it out. The baby boomer thing, I don't believe it's me. Uh, I was born, yeah, I guess considered in that section maybe for 3 months. You know, I'm hippie. I grew up hippie. And I never changed that. And I rather like my adoptive father when he said, that the mobs hung up their Tommy guns and went to DC and put on a tie. So this Minnesota fraud shit and all that stuff. I mean, come on. I like that. President Trump is not throw off. I just give everybody a nickname. To me, when he was on the podcast and stuff, that was like, Donnie's on. I think he's funny as hell. I like him. I think he's funny as hell. He's got that dry sense of humor, that dry wit that goes over the head of like 99.9% of people. But the ones who get it really get it. They can't stop laughing. I love these new little cartoons they've got out about like the Simpsons, the way they started out. I just die laughing. I finally remembered the good little girl's name was Kamala Harris. And I understand she was, I hate to say it, VP for, the Ford was, we had 4 years a weekend at Bernie's. And one of her answers actually stuck with me. I don't name very well. One of her answers. Aren't you the border czar, but you've never been to the border? Well, I've never been to Europe either. That was the answer to the question. Never been to Europe. Fucking here, take a ticket. You go fuck us anyway. Check Hawaii on on your way back in. What's what Obama's bought now? That poor senator who was a poor lawyer before that. Look at them older pictures. That boy ain't wearing no suit. He certainly isn't wearing no $4,000 suit. Who pays that much for clothes? People get a grip. got that much money to spend on damn suits. You should donate and make homeless shelters. I like the ones that I see them all the time. These tiny little homes. They don't cost that much to put up. If the homeless had somewhere, and they had a year, say, where they didn't have to pay for utilities, rent, and all of that, they could work. You know, and they have an address. They could work. Then they could actually start paying for it. One would hope. I don't know. From what I've seen, that's happened in Seattle, LA, San Francisco, Chicago. It broke my heart. Chicago did. Chicago was a very affluent city for several hundred years, and now we have this. Have had no problem when my veterans and I have problems eating. We had to do 2 or 3 jobs. Some of them were homeless, still are, but they don't get that free hotel. So I'm trying not to get into politics, so we're just going to cut down on there. If you want politics, tell me. If you want to do something, tell me. Throw it in the comments. Live chat's up if you'd like to. Pop in and tell me this, that, or the other. I probably won't listen. I'm letting you follow or get the hell out of my way. Guess which one I am. That's not hard, is it? I got time. Wasn't going to do a podcast today. I got so tired. I've been wearing too many hats today. And I managed to get pretty much cut off. I need to throw some of the throw rugs back down. These are big rugs. And I pull them up, roll them up, do all that while I'm getting the house swept and mopped and cleaned and all that since it's a Monday. I did it yesterday. I swear to God, I clean more and I work more now than I did when I wasn't retired. Same with my husband, who's still trying to avoid the camera. He didn't make it. Thank you. He ran to get me these cigarillos. I'm allowed to have these. They made me quit smoking, but these go out when I talk. So it's real good up here. Especially since I generally have a drink up here. It's our There's a story behind that. Maybe I should write a book about that one too. And the adoption, that's another thing. People, when they find you, dye your hair, change your name, leave the fucking state. Yes, this is not for kids. Get the kids out. Yeah, leave. Tell nobody who you really are. Don't jump in that snake-infested pit. Been there, done that, and there are some horror stories I could tell you. I mean, for real. Shit, you literally, I mean, you can't make this shit up. And it's bad enough with the country in the shape it's in. I understand they're going now, running around and wanting to fuck everybody's world up to see if they're going to actually pass the budget. It's their job. They have one fucking job. One. How fucking hard is it? Shit. What's her name? Ilhan Omar. She made $30 million last year. She had one job. She managed it, didn't she? And she got a raise. Instead of $170,000 a year, bam, boom. She and her husband now have made $30 million in 1 year. Nobody can figure out how they did it, but that's what they're supposed to be worth now. Why is it? I want somebody, riddle me this. Why do octogenarians still serve and still run in the House and Senate in Congress? Why are they fucking there? They're 86 years old. They've got 230 million. And that's how they wish to retire well, for poor Nancy, it's kind of funny. She's usually drunk up there like me, but I don't think Congress has a bar. It didn't when I worked up there. We went to the Watergate. And they've torn all that shit down now. Wonder why. We had such good times there. Well, there's a lot you can say about Washington, D.C., but there's a lot you can't. Not if you ever worked there. You signed so much shit, you'll be dead the minute you open your mouth. They don't even have to do the MIBs, the helicopters, none of that shit. You just die. Probably some little thing wired in your brain to just go poof. She had a heart attack. You never know. Look at the stuff going around today. I was watching one boy. He had just come home from somewhere, and his wife said he had to take her over to the PX. She had something to show him. It was very important. They went on over there, and they got a bunch of food. And when it came time to to pay, He's reaching for his wallet to get his debit card out. She says, no, no, look at this. And she put her hand under the scanner with her front of the hand up. And it took the total and gave her the total. It said, thank you, printed out a receipt. Her husband went about absolutely ape shit. What the F all have you done? He was not happy. And he wanted it removed immediately. He said, no, you're not. No, no. And apparently they had started with the military, which is generally what they do when they give you fucked up shit. So just from experience, that's about the way that's going to go. No, I'm not doing that. One boy had one that he could open his car door, he could open his house, he could turn on his music, he could turn the heat off, turn the heat on. Well, what the fuck happened to just twitching the little knob? Is it really that difficult, people? And none of these people that I'm looking at are like over the age of 22, literally. And so they can't, if you really want to fuck them up, give them a rotary phone and the directions literally on how to use it in person. They'll never get a call out. I know, I got a couple grandkids. And that's the next thing has to be rewire. I don't know if they have brains, but rewiring brains so that their phone. I mean, they've tried the glasses with the phone and all that. I say we call that bitch a phone. These smartphones have actually more inside of them. It can do more. That okay, darling. Than you could have done, say in 1969 with NASA. NASA's, and that was huge. With one computer, was just one whole huge building, and that's in your phone. We call it a phone. It's not. Oh, it is. That's the way I treat it. It's a phone. I've had one since '89. Back when they didn't take pictures, you didn't have Snapchat, WhatsApp, uh, Facebook, Twitter, whatever. I think X is always just going to be fucking called Twitter. I'm sorry, Elon. I like you a lot. Bless you, darling. There's a few in there that I should say something about. I was startled to see a lot of them. Joe Rogan, peace, dude, peace, dude. Loved you ever since news radio. Yes, it was a horrible thing that happened, but you are a great part of that ensemble. And I've watched you since, and I still love you. Bill Maher, he's another one. Johnny Carson, right, dude? Hey, yeah, I love you guys. Kit, Kit Cat Williams, love you, doll. Probably wasn't the best intro. Sorry about that. Love that guy. Yeah, fucked up with his president line. I don't want to plagiarize, but he's so funny. If you asked him for the weather, you couldn't have stopped laughing for an hour just on one answer. Just love him, but that's so glad to see him out there. Yeah, because there was a while that I looked for him and I couldn't find him. So I probably won't get up here and do anything but blither, really. I've started putting some of them up on Facebook, so I see if my friends are still around and are talking to me because I have not had time for Facebook. I've got 4 Chromebooks snatched up and trying to, hook them all together and get them all this way and that way. And my husband wants one for just himself, and I was like, because he brought 2 more smaller Chromebooks in, and he wanted me to make his just do this, and this. And I'm not a programmer. I just turn them on and use them. Same with the chat phone, The only difference to me is now I can actually call across the street, and it's not long distance. And when I first moved to Georgia, way back in the 80s, another book I should write, you could call literally across the street and down a block, and it was long distance. So you just fuck it, and you walk the block and a half. Hey! And this wasn't that long ago. It's not that long. I apologize again. I end up with putting these little headbands on all the time because the earphones just fall forward or fall back. They just do what they bloody hell want. Sometimes I think my husband is sabotaging me. If you're wondering, I like my whiskey. Well, I just like my whiskey or my scotch on ice. And my husband buys me what are called these little whiskey fireballs. And I love them because, well, for one, they have that cinnamon taste there that burst at the end. And they're my little airplane ones. I got this selection of airplane bottles for flying and falling all around the world. But tonight, I decided, okay, I'm going to go ahead and put it in. I'm a little late. So if there is anybody out there, hit the live chat, say something. Hi, bitch. I don't. They like this shit. I don't care about it. I'm up here because the social Woodstock is free, and we should be able to turn around and tell them, hey, fuck you. And when they wonder who it is, we'll just go, yeah, yeah. All the ones you thought of, and a few you forgot. Mm, I love that taste. Right behind it. Just a little bit more juice. Using most of it's late today. And my husband wants to cook chicken. No, I am the world's worst cook, probably. At least everybody says so. So I'm going to go with that. But that means my husband thinks he can cook. And oh my God. I hope he doesn't watch this episode. He probably will have something bad to say. He's a great husband most of the time. Same with all of us. We're all good people. When that bad bitch shows up, though, it's a pain. I get a kick out of that. These ICE people are trying to do a job. And now they tell people what this person did, what that person did, this is why they're going, and so forth and so on. That's not good enough. They're going to get up in their face with one of them bullhorns. Now, I got something to tell y'all. I dare you to get in my face and explain to me why you have free speech and can scream in my face. Because meanwhile, I'm going to be doing my damnedest to put that damn thing where somebody surgical will have to get it out of for you. So try that. I mean, test me. It'll be fucking fun. I'm 5'2". Was in karate for most of my life, army, so forth, and so on. Fencing, you can just about name it. I have like 40 swords here. But yeah, you try that. Try that. Yeah. And if I can't do it my way, I will pick up an equalizer and make your day. You're the kind of people I wouldn't let my foxhole. You're the kind of fucking people that you die on friendly fire. When you get up there and you think you're the only fucking person in the United States and you're not even here legally, that you can tell us that you have the right to do this or that. And oh my God, please pull out the Mexican flags or the Palestinian flags, or I would suck that up your ass. And then anybody that burned an American flag that was near me, run. Run, and keep running. No, keep running. Keep running. Don't just pray I'll never ever see you ever again. They frown on this attitude, I know. I didn't say I'd kill anybody. I didn't even say I'd hurt them. I just said run. A little seriously. Some of my favorite shows that I'm getting a kick out of, the shorts. And that's where the little cartoon is with Donnie, President Trump. Sorry, I'm not sorry. I hope they're taking these people from Minnesota, or I was hoping, and send them down to Alligator Alley. I call it Gator Gitmo. That's mine. Don't steal it. It's the Gator Gitmo, and that's where I think that old Tampon Tim should be. And I think that's where, what's her name? The giggle girl. See, I forget her name every damn time. I don't know what it is. I can't remember her for shit. But I would have loved to have been a fly on the wall when Hillary Clinton found out that the new VP was a female. Yeah, well, I don't understand why I don't remember her name. And of course, I've been getting a kick out of Fulton County being charged several $1 million because of what they did to President Trump on his first term and how they stole his second term, which is how they got all those boxes and boxes and trucks and boxes of the truth. I could have told the truth in 2020 when I heard that he had tried to tell then and still jackass governor, what's his name? Oh, yeah, Kemp. He's a traitor. He's committed treason. He knew he was. He's guilty of it. Put him in jail. Put all of them in jail. But when the votes were coming down, all you could see were ballots over every bridge, every ravine, all along the highway. I never did stop and pick one of them up and say, was it, who was this one going to vote for? Because it was already thrown away, so you could tell already what it was. Then we had things going on like uh, all kinds of things happened. They wouldn't do anything about it because they had a Trump sign in the yard. I got news for y'all. You know, they gave out the little buttons for Stevenson, for Ike, and so forth. But even they forgot that in the beginning, when George Washington was our first president, and so forth and so on, the vote was secret. When I first voted, I voted one time and then I quit, and I couldn't tell you why it'd take too long. But they had that little curtain that you could pull, so nobody know how you voted. There wouldn't be nobody going, well, I don't like them because they vote for so and so. I don't like them because what the fuck? What the fuck do you care about how somebody else votes? It's none of your damn business. I don't care if they light the fucking roof up on, I'm voting for so and so. Who gives a flat rat's ass? Knock it off. Grow the absolute fuck up. You know? The things that you all fucking need to worry about is not getting up in ISIS face because they're getting rid of the gangbangers that kidnapped, raped, brutalized, and killed poor women. Go down and have Margaritaville, like what's his name, the senator did. Another deadbeat. So, hey, if they're flying a Mexican flag, I got news for you. We will send you home on our dime. And you can even apply to come back. We didn't say we'd accept that bitch, but you can apply. But nobody's ever done that. And that's what you should do. And you get a stipend to leave. Because you don't need to be here if you don't want to be legal. If you don't like America, get the fuck out. How in the name of all that's holy are these bitches in Congress saying, well, America is worse than Somalia? And you can imagine where that quote came from. Yeah. Go the fuck out of my country. And by the way, freeze her assets. Send her back with a wrap and a headscarf. And that's all she had when she got here in a plastic bag. Send her ass back that away. Loving them repoing the Lamborghinis and Bugattis and all. Yeah, loving that. Cannot stop laughing. Took one guy who was 22 or 23 years old, a podcaster, to go, hey, these guys are getting a lot of money for kids. Let's go see what it's like. Well, no fucking kids there. Never was any fucking kids there. Catching them at the Minneapolis airport with their carry-on stuff with millions, and you can't make that up, millions of dollars in cash. Now they can stop them. They can intercept them. Before, no. And I love it's mine. I work very hard. I owe a whole bunch of daycares for children. I take care of the children. You're racist. You want children to stop. Fuck off. If you couldn't have fed them bitches on the 99 billion you stole already, they are gonna go hungry. Just fuck. We can't afford to feed our own fucking kids. Are you kidding me? Everything tripled. Have a cat, have a dog. Their food tripled in the last 4 years. As a matter of fact, Mr. President Trump, could you go after those animal suppliers and say, what the fuck are you charging $20 for a 14-pound bag of food for? Serious to God? They made cereal boxes smaller, and yet they still raise the prices. Everything you buy is now in the smaller content. They didn't tell you that. But it is. Yeah, most of us noticed it anyway because we hadn't got rid of the old one. Everything. Coffee's $20 fucking for the medium size. What? I mean, at some point, besides me, somebody needs to, like us, open the window and yell out, fuck you. It's criminal. They should all be charged with theft. It's just too much. I get so head up about that. I thought when Charlie Kirk was assassinated, and I didn't understand it. And the only thing that I knew, and I said I was going to say his name every day, and I'm going to. The young man, he never had a book. He didn't have assistants. He didn't have a phone. He didn't have a tablet. He wasn't doing this to answer a question. I knew him as the prove me wrong kid on campus, and I loved him. He was so good. He was so gracious. He was so soft-spoken. He smiled. He didn't call people names. He just said, prove what I've said wrong. And they could. And I just adored the guy. I thought he was great. Then I found out after he was assassinated, the day that I came in that day, I was doing grocery shopping and I just hit my knees and my husband freaked. What's wrong? And I said, he killed Charlie. It's like JFK. And then I just kind of froze going, where did that come from? Out of the blue. I just, that astonished me. And I remembered that more than anything. And my husband said, I don't know who that is. I said, no, and there's no point in me explaining it to you because he wouldn't know. Wasn't a week later, they had that place all different. Concrete down, this down, new side. It was all gone where he was killed. He was murdered. He was executed. And I don't hear his name anymore. I haven't seen Candace Owens lately. I need to look up her. Hey, babe, girl. She was the only one, and a few others. But basically, she was the spearhead, and she probably still is. I've been busy. And Lucia, girlfriend, you got a life too. Charlie wouldn't want you to lose it either. But I've been wondering why I hadn't heard anything. It has become shades of JFK. It's how did your security company not understand that this was an open air event, which is always a major scare event for anybody that's there. He always had death threats. None of this I knew about. There was one roof that had perfect access, and that's where the shooter was. So obviously, it's the same as when they shot Donald Trump. Somebody on the inside opened the door, and the other guy opened the window. Bingo, bada boom, bada bing. And yeah, okay, come on, send the Hueys. I'm bored. If that makes me a conspiracy theorist, well, bring it on. These people died in vain, and I'm not going to allow that to happen either. I adored that boy, and again, I did not know what his affiliations were. I do now. To me, he was a good Christian kid, and to me, he still is. He never did anything. He never hurt anybody. He never did anything that I know of to anybody, anywhere, at any time of his life. And even if he had, we have multi-murderers in prison for life, and they call that justice. No. Justice would be, okay, you killed them. How? All right, and you're a self-confessed murderer. Yeah, bring your ass on over here. We'll set this up so you can die just like your victim. Now that would be justice. There's a reason. Think about it. There's a reason Solomon said an eye for an eye. I don't believe for a second that they should be getting 3 hots and a cot on my dime when they killed their entire family, and they're going to be there until, well, whenever they die. Meanwhile, the money I'm spending to keep them alive is keeping me from feeding my grandkids or what have you. They don't have the right, and yet they do. So don't tell me it's also a free country. We wouldn't have weekend at fucking Bernie's for 4 years if it was a free goddamn country. And this is why this is important. Now, they may not air this because they're not going to like the content. But if they do, and if you do hear me, and if you agree with me, jump your ass on. Put something in the comments. Live a little. Because Great Britain has already taken that away from their citizens. I was shocked, and I'm still shocked. I was absolutely gobsmacked. And I'm British. I'm adopted. My son decided that he wanted to know what the genealogy was. And he bought me one for Christmas, and I told him what I have red hair and hazel eyes. What did you think? And I told him he was from Danish origin, more or less, because his father was. And sure enough, binged it, everything I said. It was an educated guess, but I didn't know where else to guess for. So, that's all right with me until they made this announcement, was put people in jail. And I was just gobsmacked by that. I was just absolutely gobsmacked. It was like, what the absolute fuck all has happened to Great Britain? And then I turned on the news this morning and I find out that the former Prince Andrew, oh my God, former Prince Andrew, Princess Diana kept her title. Queen Elizabeth made sure of it. They wanted to strip her of princess. She was already a lady. She was a Spencer. and they were and have been with the reigning monarchs for over 1,000 years. So she had one hell of a pedigree, in case people don't realize. Okay, so I see that the former Prince Andrew is in the back seat of a squad car trying to duck because they've arrested him for something that's purportedly handled wrong 20 years ago. I don't see what is going on here. And even that, even saying 20 years, it's not even that. It's more like 40 years or 45 years. This was the 80s, maybe the early 90s. What took these people 45 years to come forward? How do you prove what you did 45 years before? And if it happened once, why did these women keep going back? And who kidnapped them and left them there? Uh, I don't understand the whole shebang. I don't understand how, like, Bill Cosby was brought into court and was convicted of something along the sex trade there, and accused of stuff from literally 40, 50 years ago, the same. To me, that's hearsay. How are you going to prove that? You got to prove that to me beyond a shadow of a doubt. Not he said, she said, they did. No, that's hearsay. That's why that law is in there. It's hearsay. It's inadmissible in court. Now, of course, we have the Mandela effect. First off, I'd like to know what the hell CERN did wrong in 2012, because they shut down CERN because they thought they had a problem with maybe almost making a black hole. And suddenly, there was never any Jiffy peanut butter, it was Jif. No one ever was, it was Jiffy. Skippy was the peanut butter everybody wanted, but it was expensive. So Jiffy came out as, the slightly lower cost and was winning away because it's the same shit that you're paying on. We didn't have food stamps back then, and believe it or not, I worked with my mother-in-law, the Secretary of Agriculture, which is responsible, by the way, for your EBT, food stamp, whatever you want to call it. It's the American freebie giveaway, so you can send it to terrorists in a couple of nations like Gaza and Somalia. In any event, we thought we were helping, and I worked on that program with my mother. She's my ex-mother-in-law, and my husband also had passed me. Their names be a blessing. I do borrow that from the Israelis. I think it's a lovely thing. So we were there. We invented the funny money. We called it monopoly money, and the reasons and the lists and the legalese and how to set it up and how to. Yeah, I was in the whole ground floor on that too. It's not like I didn't have a rather illustrious career myself. But again, that's another thing. You got funny though. Kind of like Private Benjamin in the movie with Goldie Hawn. She stole my part. She did it pretty good. A little bit easier than we had it, but okay, that worked. So somebody throw something at me. I got time. Cheers. Oh, what else was I going to tell you guys? I wonder, and I wonder a lot. We have all this medium. I'm on YouTube for free. I don't make money doing this. I am not opposed to making money doing this. Um, I'd like to be good at doing this. I can't decide whether I'm good or just talk a lot. I have friends that say, "How do you do that?" They watch them, but they don't. They don't subscribe. They won't come on. This is why I have so much equipment. The bar is big. We had to redesign the whole bottom of the downstairs area because my husband had just beat cancer. I figured he can have whatever he wants, and he wanted the small corner bar thing, which is what he thought it would be. And after he got to where it was, he called me and he said, "It's a really big bar." I said, "Take you want it?" He said, "Well, oh God, yeah, it's a Remington. You should see it." I said, "Well, send me a picture." I was like, "Oh God." Now I've stepped in it. I said, "Well, go ahead." The price was amazing. We stole it. look up a Remington bar, even the smallest one you see. Well, we used to own this puppy. And I love it. It's a horse. Well, it's almost like an E shape without the middle E. Uh, so, okay, a horseshoe squared. How about that? We have two entryways into our kitchen, so we blocked it off with the bar itself. We had got new furniture, got rid of the old furniture, took out the dining room area, and left one china cabinet, which we bought new. So that I condensed the two china cabinets I had into there. Um, the bar has a sink and all this other stuff underneath the marble cutting places, and it's got a wine rack. It's got this huge mirror, which holds your stemware and whatever you want to place on it. We've got a lot of gifts we got, I think it was about 3 years ago now. So we like to buy different kinds of alcohol that nobody's ever heard of and put that up there. So when they come in and they want a Jack Daniels, which is expensive, which is what they go for, we tell them, no, we're going to try the moonshine. Okay. It's pretty good though. So we get the weird shit. And we line, all those areas, but it's big. It's big. So we had to redo it. You can see part of the living room behind me. Never did paint the door and do that because I'm just back on my feet. So I'm just basically getting the housework done every day. And by 5 or 6 o'clock, if I'm lucky, I have done dinner, dishes are in the dishwasher, and I'm propped my leg up with, whatever I'm doing. So that's a good day. If not, it's 8 or 9 o'clock. So I get up before sunrise. So I'm up at about 5 o'clock. And so by the time 9, 10 o'clock rolls around, that's a long day. And I do that every day. Most days anyway. My husband doesn't do that. He goes up to his man caves and he does his movies or what have you, and he stays up there. Once I was stabilized and surgeries and so forth, he'd always slept in his man cave because he snored so badly after the bout with throat cancer. And so I couldn't sleep. And I tried to, I slept in the bedroom with earphones and everything, then tried the living room. Oh, God. So finally, it was like, we got these two bedrooms that no one's in. Pick one, or I'm going to go up there. One of us is going upstairs. And they were both kitted out, he should come. And he's got a family still, two brothers and a sister. I'm the only surviving member of my family. Even my adopted family, they all died of cirrhosis, including the real sister, who's 2 years younger. So my family consists of only my immediate family, son and grandchildren, granddaughter, grandson. And so we did this just before I had this traumatic experience, and that was a good thing. But I enjoyed that. I don't know about you guys, but I didn't realize I had missed my privacy until after he was upstairs. Now, after I had my accident, I got upstairs. It's like I'll put it this way. On my bucket list, I had go to the mall and park your car where you have to back out, but you have to go to the mall and you have to drive yourself. Because I do not like to go to places like that and drive. I don't see how other people even get in there. So my grandson, and thank God he was very sweet. He's 26 now. Well, he is next month. But anyway, so he said, all right, Grandma, I'll go with you. He was a very brave young man, I'm telling you. So he got on. And running around. Finally, he says, there's one right there. Come back around. So I came back around, and of course, the truck pulled in. And my grandson, he's out the window. You son of like, don't do that. It's just a parking space. We'll find one. Finally found one. Trying to remember where it is. We initially forgot. Then, of course, when we find it, we have to go, you had to crab walk sideways. Couldn't open your door. You had to pour in like he was half made of butter on both sides. And my grandson's a big boy. He's 6'3", a couple 100 pounds. He's a big boy. Well, now he's a man, but I mean, back then, I think he might have been 18 or 19 by then. But he's always been big since like he was 13. He's a big boy. So we tease him, tell him he's going to be a linebacker. He said, he didn't like football. Kids. So he says, Grandma, I'll tell you what, I'll stand behind the car and I'll go like this and you come straight at me. I was like, oh, fuck no. You know I'll run over your ass. Get your ass in the car. Put your seatbelt on. And I actually took a picture. I put my purse down between the tires of my car and the tires of the car that had parked next to me. And it was the size of this side. If you didn't do it right, you were going to take off the sides on both sides. And my grandson was just freaking. And so, of course, I said, oh, fuck it. I'm leaving. So if that's all the room they gave me, well, let the cops sort it. I don't give a fuck. No, they don't serve alcohol up there, if I'd known. But so far, I have to do this alone. I said, all right. So off I go. And I made a perfect one. I mean, I came straight out and snapped forward and was getting it. Mind you, the mall's it's just 2 miles or so from my house. It's just down a small road and another road off of it. And so you're back home in 5 minutes. And my grandson's just tripping. You did it, you did it, you did it. I think you can do it. Shut the fuck up. But that was one of my bucket list things, which is kind of strange, isn't it? And recently we've been all talking about moving. My son and daughter-in-law, they want to finish their career here in Augusta at the base, but they don't want to stay in. They have an HOA house and several $100,000 house, and we took this one, their starter house. And they put a second mortgage on it, so it's like never going to get paid. So they decided they'd just sell both houses, get 10 acres of land, and we could be on the back 40, is how I was told. This is interesting. And they would get a house built at the front. We could have a double wide at the back. That ought to be big enough. I'm like, sure. As long as you like touring in as much as I do, you put me in a double wide in your backyard. I'm going to kill this kid. It's like, in my mind, I'm thinking of ways to eliminate this. And like I said, his biological father has passed as well. So, not that he had really seen him but a few times in his life. And no, that was not my fault. I don't believe in that. I see a lot of ladies. I was my own attorney. I went in and she's like, you don't want alimony, you don't child support, you do all this stuff you would do. I don't want it. You don't have it. If you did, it doesn't matter. I went and asked for custody of my kid if I could take care of my kid. She's like, well, I wish other people felt like you do because they have to, the other side pay for their life because they got the kid that's wrong. I said, yeah, it is. Obviously I'm divorcing for a reason, but you got to have, you still got to talk to God at some point. And you can't just go, well, I have him support me for 20 years while I screw every other body and have, I'd be the baby mama for 4 days. Because they're paying me for that. Please go out. Like I said, you get a little wisp, and that's all you get. My time is coming up, so I had more to talk about than I thought. Isn't that fun? So somebody grow a pair. I sure would like to see somebody on this channel. You don't have to like it. All you have to do is get there, talk. How can you miss out on that? Why would you want to miss out on that? Put in the comments what your channel is. I'll pop my ass right on over there. I'm telling you. I love this shit. It's free and it's in real time. I can talk to somebody in Israel while I'm sitting here enjoying the fair weather in Georgia. Augusta, Georgia is a beautiful place to be. It's the longest place I've ever stayed in my entire life, ever. Not even at parents or trying to orphanages or running around the world in my life. I have never stayed 15 years in one place. Not even close. So I kind of got used to it. This is why I like my whiskey on the rocks. Takes it a while. Dilutes it a little bit. And at this point, I know my husband's wanting me to get offline. And here's something. And he had said he was going to make the barbecue chicken, meaning I didn't have to. So you can't fault that, you know. You just can't. Well, and out here today, the high was only, it's supposed to have been 40. I didn't feel it. We had the hot house was wiped out by Hurricane Helene, which kept me another 2 weeks from surgery. So for 4 weeks, I was just put together with ace wraps and some sticks. It was basically that, you know, I never had a cast. That's the way they do them now. But yeah, I can. And I'm in pieces, stuff. It was fun. And you never know that you cannot stand up on crutches because you can, and you can walk. I got almost to the sixth step before I started going, catch me, catch me, catch me, catch me. Because suddenly that lady said, this far, no further, bitch. You think, I was on these things before. You wouldn't think your other leg was that weak that it couldn't hold you up. But it was. It could not hold me up. So luckily, you know, our off suite is just right there so that he organized the bedroom. So it was basically just those 6 steps. In case he wasn't there, he was my only character for a year. Drove him nuts because I like things clean. And so whenever I had to go to the surgeons or what have you, he would throw me in the wheelchair, which couldn't fit in the bedroom. It barely fit in the hallway, so he would maneuver it. So he would put me in there and run me straight out. I'm like, I didn't see the house hardly at all for that year. And then when they told me, they said, okay, we're cutting you loose, and good news is you wear a shoe. And that was it. They just sent me out the door, had me start doing physical therapy with the VA, set that up with the VA. And so this dumbass on my way home, and I'm excited because I could start to put weight, you know, on the foot. They don't say do this easily. They just said, we're cutting you loose and you can wear a shoe. And I'm like, oh, shit. And for a year, you haven't even moved your leg because you would scream. And and I had to change my wardrobe because it was just, you couldn't get in and out of slacks. You couldn't do that. And that without tremendous pain. They don't treat you for the pain. It's going to take Tylenol. I always wanted to, you know, and hand somebody a Tylenol, but they frown on that. So I never did get to do that. I really was looking forward to it, but I didn't get to do that. So he was interesting while that was going on. We have an entirely different opinion on how to clean a house. And his was nowhere near mine. Excuse me a sec. We're here in Georgia, and for some reason, we've actually got cold weather. You won't get any 1 year, maybe 2, but on the 3rd year, you're looking how to make an igloo. So I love that because it's chapstick, but it's like lipstick, and it works really well. It's got beeswax. So you see me do that. If you see me, just ignore me. At my age, it's not going to help if it is lipstick. So I have fun up here. I think it's a real hoot. And all this stuff they send the cloud and all that, well, it's always going to be there. So my great-great-granddaughter, long after I'd gone over that rainbow bridge to meet my fur babies down over there, she can go to people, this is my great-great-grandma. And I hope they go, well, damn, that bitch was crazy. It's just like at the funeral. It's an adventure. You're not stuck in this body. You're not cold. You're not tired. You're not upset. You're not hurting. You're not hungry. Any of those things. You've gone on to a new adventure, and it's just fascinating to me. I read everything I can about it. Started all this, but the Sleeping Prophet, Mr. Edgar Casey, is a wonderful, wonderful person to ease your way into such a thing. Paranormal, I've been interested in since it was reel-to-reel microphone, and they were like, you know, boombox eyes, and that was your microphone and everything. Your recorder and microphone. In any event, I mean, I was there before fucking Xerox, okay? When I was typing, it was a manual typewriter, and it didn't have any letters on the keys. Your fingers knew what letters you were typing. Try that. While technology changes about every other year, almost every time I left one duty station and went to another one, there was new equipment And this went on for a while. Then I went into the civil service, and it went on longer. And by the time I actually retired, they had managed since 2012. It has managed to stay pretty much the same. And I was shocked. It was always Windows XP, Windows this, Windows that. My grandson cracks me up because in one of the guest rooms upstairs, we made it into an apartment on both sides. And I had left, the one was my office. And I had one of the smaller PCs back when they weren't flat screens and all that, but it was smaller than the big white consoles. And he's like, "What a grandma! Is this a dinosaur, Grandma?" And I was like, "I know. I just keep it to play game. It's got a ping pong game in it." He said, "Literally, you're keeping it for a game." I was like, "Yeah, what the fuck? I've got your dad's first Nintendo." He said, "Well, they haven't changed." And I said, "Oh yeah, they changed. That first year had a robot, game. You had to go over and pick up this little thing like a top, put it in, and do this thing like rescue Zelda with this robot." And I've got all of his original stuff. Should be in a museum probably. I don't think they made but a couple thousand of those. But he wanted it, so of course, 1 month of my salary went to getting it, so he could have it. That's what we do with our kids. So all this stuff is going on in my life. Well, that's happening. I'm a single mom, and then I'm married, and what not to shoot him. And they run on that shit too. So life is a series of ups and downs. Like I said, if you're adopted and they do reach you, disappear. Deny everything. For the love of God, don't go anywhere near them. I keep seeing these little shows where all these people were doing that before it happened to me. I knew being on the cover of that Parade magazine was going to get us sooner or later. In any event, yeah, the first call that they made, it turns out it's my husband's sisters who called, the name that was listed in the Parade News article, which was a Sunday sheet that they put in on every Sunday, a Chicago Tribune, and it was actually U.S. wide. All my friends came over, "You're in the paper, you're a star, you're in the paper." I'm like, and I wonder how the Partridge Family feels. So, hey, with the monkeys. So, I guess I'm getting right up here. I think whatever it is that I put into my little whiskey trips is also helping me. And now I'm dinging. I'm not sure why I'm dinging. My headphone is dinging. And I didn't give it a reason to do that. Could be paranormal. I like all that stuff. If you want to talk about politics, so do I. But probably not the way you do. I want to know why the hell they weren't rode out, tarred, and feathered on the railroad. But, again, they frown on that shit. Ah. So I try to finish off before I leave the mic, kind of the decision that was made or agreed to. So I try not to give you guys more than an hour. Again, family and friends will not go on the air. And I mentioned Joe and them, Joe Rogan and Bill Maher. They have guests. I love Bill Maher. I mean, if I liked California, I would jot out there just to see and sit and talk to him. He is awesome. I mean, he'd give you a pre-roll while you sit there. Exchange, What's wrong with that? It's so cool. It's legal now. Even the VA passed it, which was like, "I'm dying. I'm coming to see you." Because I'm under VA care. There are several reasons, but I don't have time to go into those today, which again, they would probably cut me off if I did. I never check to see if they do. I just won't stand. Got it passed. It really is a cigarillo, a little cigar. I got used to them in Europe when I was in Europe because we would sell our American cigarettes. If you lived off base, you made a little extra anyway on the German mark than you did the English dollar, right? American dollar. So you were making a little bit of money when you took your American dollar and changed it for German money. But you could even save your marks, your German money, if you sold them your carton of Marlboro or that and a bottle of Jack Daniels and throw in some ice cream, and your rent was done. So, but they had them, of course, rationed because they knew we did that. And I lived off post. Most of the time, I lived off the base. The housing was needed for those with families, and even though my son was born in Europe, I was transferred, um, back to the states, and I didn't need an apartment with 8 bedrooms. And so, even though I had my name on a list, I was like, "No, don't do that," because there were kids. People had 4 or 5 kids, so you know, I found a lovely little cottage, a little German cottage out in the woods. It seemed like you had to go through, but it was wonderful. It was so lovely and peaceful there. I hated leaving it because I was going back to the States, and nothing in the States is quiet. Nowhere. Maybe it's because I was raised in Chicago and I bell around the world, but basically I would end up in a major city, San Antonio, things like that. You know, you're going to be in a big city, it's faster. Whereas you're in the smaller suburbs, like now that I had moved to Georgia, it's been through decades, but I did return to San Antonio 3 times. So that'll give you a clue. I'm too old, I don't give a shit. I don't want to back. So, yeah. Anyway, if you enjoyed this at all, come and join me. Talk to me. Give me a reason to go one on one with somebody besides my own intelligence, which is probably more difficult than I think. Because I haven't got a lot of intelligence I'm playing with. In the meantime, guys, I hopefully will see you tomorrow. I never know anymore. I used to be on every day like clockwork. Now I take weekends off, and some weeks I don't feel well enough, so I only put in 3 shows a week: Monday, Wednesday, Friday. If you want to catch the live ones, you're going to have to subscribe, tickle the bell, you'll get the alert. If you don't give a shit and you look it up later, don't worry about it. I would like to know that there's someone out there, even if you only, as they say, clicks now. So even if you like look at 10 seconds of it, it's a click. You're not supposed to be getting something good for that. I don't know. I did used to run a local newspaper many moons ago, and I mean, I was the reporter, I was the artwork designer, I laid out the paper, I burnt the paper to ran it, to ink. Oh, yeah, I wore all the hats. So, you know, I know why things have gone downhill since these became a thing. Doctors even do their own notes anymore. That was one of my jobs many moons ago. Was you know they would record whatever, and I'm listening to it and I'm putting it on paper. And they don't have that now because that doctor did it for you. So thousands of people were put out of work just that way. So also kind of think of that when we go to the new technology more and more. I keep wanting to smack my granddaughter's phone out of her hand, but I think about it, and I always wanted to smack my grandson's phone out of his hand too. But at the same time, I was one of the ones who stood up and said, "Look, he needs a phone." When he was 13, they'd already had these school shootings, and I wanted him to be able to reach out. So it's like you can monitor him, so cut him off. He can make a phone call. He can do a text. That's all he's got to do. I said, I got 3 flips I can give it. Of course, my son went out and bought him a brand new, like $2,000 phone. Anyway, I don't think he watches this. I don't know. Don't care. So I see my hour is about up in another minute or so. I may cut myself off a little bit early. I don't know. As I said, if you like the show, if you don't like the show, if you've got ideas, I don't drop videos unless I'm asked to because we've all seen them 100 times. So if you want to talk about something along that line, I don't reckon we have to look at the video in order to discuss it. But if you would like to do it that way, I'll be happy to. I do not, again, make money doing this, but I'm not averse to doing so. So y'all, hang in there. It's going to be a bumpy night. See ya.